Let me ask you something. If your entire family started dying one by one, and every grave you opened showed a body that didn't look dead, what would you believe? By the early 1700s, villages across Serbia and Romania weren't telling stories anymore. They were surviving something they couldn't explain. People weren't afraid of myths. They were afraid of tomorrow, because someone buried on Monday might be blamed for a death on Friday. The night the graves opened. Picture this: cold air, lantern light shaking in nervous hands, a priest whispering prayers under his breath. The grave is opened. Everyone leans in, and what they see doesn't match what they expect. The body looks swollen. There's dark fluid at the mouth. The skin looks strangely tight. To us, decomposition. To them, feeding. And fear spreads faster than facts ever could. The hunters. Here's the part that history rarely tells gently. There were no professional vampire hunters. They were fathers, brothers, neighbors. They weren't chasing monsters. They were trying to protect the living. When reports reached officials under Habsburg control, even discussions surfaced in Vienna, not as fantasy, as official concern. Think about that. An entire region shaken by something they couldn't explain. The rituals that followed. A wooden stake through the heart, not because it was dramatic, but because they believed it would stop movement. Garlic around the body, not because of movies, but because strong smells were believed to repel evil. Sometimes stones were placed in the mouth. Sometimes the body was turned face down. Extreme? Yes, but fear makes ordinary people do extraordinary things. The psychology of panic. When one person believes they're under attack, others begin to feel symptoms: weakness, nightmares, breathlessness. In reality, diseases like rabies and tuberculosis were spreading silently. But in a world without medical understanding, people needed a face for their fear. So they created one: the vampire. And then, the transformation. Centuries later, everything changed. In 1897, Bram Stoker published Dracula. He transformed the bloated corpse of folklore into something elegant, charming, controlled. Inspired partly by stories from Eastern Europe and the historical figure Vlad the Impaler, the vampire became aristocratic, the monster became magnetic, and fear became fascination. Why we still watch. Here's the truth. Vampires never died because they represent something deeper. In plague eras, they symbolized disease. In Victorian times, hidden desire. Today, power and immortality. The vampire adapts because our fears adapt. The real horror. The scariest part of the story isn't an immortal creature in the dark. It's what happens when entire communities act on fear. Graves disturbed, bodies altered, families torn between grief and suspicion. History shows us something powerful. When humans don't understand something, we don't stay calm. We create answers. And sometimes those answers outlive the fear that created them. So, were vampires real? Not as immortal beings with fangs, but as belief? Absolutely. And belief changes behavior. Behavior changes history. History becomes legend. And legend never really dies. This was part 2. In part 3, we explore how the vampire became seductive, why immortality fascinates us, and how modern media reshaped the monster once again. Because the legend didn't survive by accident. It survived because we needed it to.
Hi, This video is for educational purposes and was edited and structured by me using AI tools.